We'll wait for a couple of minutes and then we'll start. So friends, we should get going. And the rule of the game is that we will not have any video, only the audio will be there. And you can write your comments in the chat box. While the presentation will be on, I will be able to see the question. Further, if I'm asking you to give your comment on a question that has been put to you, I shall wait for a couple of minutes before I proceed. And this is how your attention will be evaluated by colleagues of our TLC, right? And we all should be relaxed and try to learn little bit in case we are ready to learn from each other. So I hope all of you have listened to NEP 2020. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. What is so special about NEP? You can write in the chat box so that I can read. There is no problem. How many of you have deliberated in your college about the early exit system? Early exit system.
We had a discussion yesterday on the early exit system, but things are not yet clear that how it should be implemented, and so that's it.
Okay, but you heard the discussion. Can
Yes.
anybody from other institution can comment? I'm waiting for your response, my dear participants. I hope that I'm not alone. Don't do this.
Sir,
no, you have already spoken. Somebody let other react. You can unmute yourself. Either you comment or write in the chat box. Because I have to theoretically deal meaning of education and some of the policy documents of the government of India of yesteryears. Then I have to come to NEP. Therefore, I'm trying to see no qualitative statement. You have to tell me what is so special about it. Is it painful to implement early exit system? Because suppose that after 2 years of the learning, I go out as a student from your institute. Then I'll have the chance to come back and complete my degree, I hope. Then the records have to be maintained. And suppose that I'm coming after 5 years, 4 years. I hope that there is no age limit, right? The only thing is that you have to have graduation within this much number of years. That means if you can read for 4 years, you can complete the 4-year course in 7 years, or you can complete 5-year course in 8 years, maybe. That depends on each other. And there are some authority in place. They are going to decide. And my colleague has very rightly said that we at our institute are deliberating with the help of the CNET. Okay, so there is time bar, right? So can we comment on the education itself? What for we need education? One of you, just write in the chat box. So is it for today only? Yes, there are many things, but I am asking that is it for today only? Great, empowerment is also there. Okay, let's construct an example so that what is the question will become little bit clear to you. Were you knowing that there will be some animal-like mobile in 2000? I think 2000 it has come, 95. I can assure you that it was not there. I do not know how old you people are in the participant, but it was not there. So in 95, whatever was going on in the area of electronics and circuitry, they must be thinking about tomorrow. So some of us, all the educationists, they say education is not only for today, but tomorrow as well. This is the first proposition. If it is not true, then you will not be able to contribute to artificial intelligence. You will not be able to see what is going to be the path of development tomorrow. And you would like that your student, all your students after graduation, they should be able to address problem of tomorrow based on the societal need. Okay? This requires very, very important thing, and that pertains to the vitality of the education process. Vitality of the education process itself. By vitality, I mean the inner strength of any academic institution. Individuals have inner strength. I claim, and most of the educationist is going to claim, that educational institutions also have vital element. They have inner strength. Just you hold on for a couple of minutes. In 5 minutes, I shall try to construct example so that you can appreciate my question. The question is, if higher education or university as a whole, we shall define what is a university, okay? University doesn't mean that IIT system and NIT system are not university. We shall define. You just give me some time. It is only the inner strength of the system of excellence in the university campuses that permits it, or that permits them, all the universities taken together, all educational institutions taken together, to survive longer. Right? I'm sure some of you are from the social sciences, so I construct one question for you, and I shall pause for a moment before I can proceed. Can you see, if you have a mobile next to you, or in the system itself, you can open another window and try to tell me the list of oldest functioning universities. List of oldest functioning universities or institutions. That is perfectly fine for me. The only condition is there has to be teaching and there has to be research. If the two things are met, I think we will call them, for our convenience, to be a university. Can anybody list oldest functioning universities?
Mumbai University, maybe. University of Mumbai.
No, continuously working. No gap. Please look at your mobile, oldest functioning university. What is the first university that you have seen in your mobile? No, even older than these two universities. Akiti, even older than these two universities. No, Nalanda, there was a gap. That is what I have told one of your participants. Oldest functioning universities or institution, academic institution of higher learning.
It is showing University of Bologna, Italy, established in 1088.
One more, even older than this. So you know, that's perfectly fine. For our purpose, it is all right. So it is 1088. When are we discussing? Yes, when are we discussing this problem of university? In 2025. Roughly how many years we have gone? You are saying 1088, na? Bhattacharya ji?
Yes, yes.
So you take 2025 minus 1088. Now the response from a social scientist is needed. How many years did you get? Oxford and Cambridge already 1000 years, I think, 809 years, 900 years or so. Am I correct? Oxford and Cambridge.
It is around 937 years.
Oh, wonderful. Yes. So, Deepak, I'm interested in learning from you. How can a university survive for 1000 years? Was there a political change? See, our basic question is that I want to prove to my colleagues that there are some inner strength that drives the university to last longer without any gap. That's the question that we are trying to understand. Was there a political change? Okay, at least some of you are a student of science and engineering, you will be able to recollect. There was industrial revolution. Yes. Wonderful. Yes. There was political change. Wonderful. Yes. There was change in the process of governance also, therefore. Right?
Yes.
So that means, do you mean that the political change could not lead to the closure of an institution? In many of the cases, some of the cases it did. We'll come to that. In fact, that is what we are supposed to be deliberating. Right? So how can any education of higher learning will be able to withstand against the onslaught of the political masters? That's the question. And if they don't, then with respect to the political change of the political masters, the university system will collapse. Did I frame it properly? Anybody did I confuse? See, my argument is very simple. If you are saying that there was a political change, there was a change of the political master in view of governance, then they could have changed the university itself. They could have killed the university itself. They did kill it. I think, I do not know whether the first half of the lecture will have it or the other half. Right? So that means university system where there is a scope for good teaching and good research, there is a inner strength. Could I formulate it? The first thing about higher education that you must learn, that it must have its inner strength. It should be driven by the requirement of the discipline. Right? It should be driven by excellence in in any area of specialization of that discipline. Okay? So, what will be the vital element of it? The vital element is going to be based on truth. Right? Those of us who are making some humble contribution through our research, or anybody who is writing a good poetry, they are sincere in their effort in saying what they feel all right, without caring for others. There are two wonderful books by Richard Feynman. One of them is Surely You Are Joking, Mr. Feynman. That's the first book. And the second that I have liked is the Why Do You Care What Other Things? And what is that basic quality that is needed? That I think we will be deliberating at least for an hour. So whenever any new initiative comes or new things are coming on a campus or in the house, right? So it will have some disruption. Am I correct?
Yes.
So those of you who are still lucky to have your parents with you, mother in particular with you, yeah, she will be saying that there was a lot of pain, but there was happiness also. Right? All changes are painful. But in case it is for the growth, if it is for the betterment, we have to go for it. So, I'm giving you an example. I'll be giving a lot of examples from a story of, first let's begin with the young kid, right? And the celebrated Guruji that we have, Rabindranath Tagore. So let's go to one of the construct of Rabindranath Tagore, right? And because of my memory, in my notebook, I have noted the page number as well. Okay? So just you give me a couple of minutes so that I can go to that page. And since the diary is very thick, in case you trouble me, I will start reading all of them, which of course you will not like. So you better listen to me in a nice way. So the page number is 47, 48. So let's go to 47 and 48. Those of you who have already gone to the Jaspal committee report, right, prior to NEP 2020, it begins with one of the beautiful texts of Rabindranath Tagore. It is translated in English, and I'm sure the Bengali version will be far more readable and lucid. But for all of you, I am trying to read it, the English version of it. Okay, as given in Jaspal committee report. Guru Ravindra is saying in one of the essay, when I was a child, I had the freedom to make my own toys out of triples and create my own games from imagination. Look at the word, imagination, right? There is only one Tagore that we have. In my happiness, my playmat had their full shares. In fact, the complete enjoyment of my games dependent upon their taking part in the game. Right? It's not competition. It's taking people together. This is what Guru Rabindra is saying us. Right? Not many of the people in this country are as accomplished as Rabindranath Tagore ji. One day, in this paradise of our childhood, look at the word, entered a temptation from the market world of the adult. Never permit, therefore, my comment. This is not Guruji's comment. This is my comment. And you'll be able to make out, because I cannot match in any way the excellence that Rabindranath Tagore has. That the moment there is an interference from outside, the pleasure of being together in the class is gone. So what happened? The market forces came, and Guru Rabindra is trying to explain what is that market force. Let me read it, then you'll be able to get it. A toy bought from an English shop, Rabindranath Tagore, you must be knowing that he was prior to the freedom, right? Was given to one of our companions. It was perfect, big, and wonderfully life-like. That means there was a toy which is life-size and wonderfully made, very expensive. He became proud of the toy, the boy or the girl. He says that so he uses he, so that means boy, of the toy, and less mindful of the game. So everybody started looking at the toy. So the participation and the group discussion is gone. Group participation is gone. So the classroom is virtually killed, according to me. He kept that expensive toy carefully away from us. Look but don't touch. That used to be the joke, that whenever there is some costly affair, we don't permit the student to touch, only you can look and go. So, feeling himself superior to his playmates whose toys were cheap. See, prior to that, everybody was making toy out of triples. Useless thing. Now I am going to show you what I mean. private school, they will have beautiful lawns maintained. Am I correct or not? Good grass. But the students are not supposed to be going to that area. If the students are not going to that area, what is purpose of having a grass? Nobody is enjoying. After all, they are for the children. You have window in the class, but most of the time, you would like to close it. Textbook should be capable of opening the window. He or she has identified the name of the birds or not, or writes a beautiful text on the melody of the chirping of the birds. This is for all of you to decide. And I think, in case you want to make your student to be a human being, many of you have commented that you want that it should be, we should be making good human being. And in case you want to make, should he not or should she not be appreciating, should this student be not appreciating the beautiful melodious voice of chirping is the question. What is your comment? Should we insist the previous question that identify this bird, or ask them to identify the birds based on the melodious sound the bird is having? Which one will give aha moment to your student? You have to react in the chat box.
The second option, sir.
Yeah. Great. So shall we practice it in our humble way, whether we are teaching here or there, anywhere? Now, this is where our imagination comes. Remember that while reading, that time the power has come and gone. That Rabindranath Tagore said that students were out of imagination. Sir, in the classroom, if they were, do not know what kind of pleasure the students will have. Those of you who will have the time, please follow Eric Majur Aha Moment class. I rate him to be a great teacher, Professor Eric Majur. He is a great teacher in the sense whether he teaches this or that, he is conscious of the fact that how much student participation is needed, right? So you require student participation all the time. So textbook should be able to open the window, and therefore it cannot be for closing closing his mind. That means everything is contained in the textbook and nothing else. And this is the problem that institutions like ours or any center of excellence is facing today. Students are coming with some competition, and they have lost one of the vital element, and that vital element is pleasure of learning. How to restore pleasure of learning is the question, right? Now I construct one more example, that some of you are made to teach to students who are not in your discipline. Is that question well posed? Suppose that there is a student who is a Hindi honors at UG level, right? But he has to learn something other than Hindi, something. The aha moment, yes, the aha moment that Professor Majur has created was in the physics class of medical students. Here, in where I am located, that is Banaras Hindu University campus, if anybody is given that, okay, you are supposed to be teaching physics to medical students, which is compulsory course, you must be knowing it. Those of you who are connected with education, they are the compulsory course. Nobody wants to teach. And the best teacher of Harvard University was asked that, no, you take this challenge. And he said, yes, I'll take this challenge. And he started teaching that. So the textbook must be able to open the process of learning. It must see horizon expansion, right? Expansion, right? Not like this at the UG level. Expansion, right? So now suppose that the head of the institution is asking you that there is a compulsion of initiating a new discipline that some of us have shared, right? Then what is going to happen? Most of us will be very upset. Most of us will be very upset because we have to work extra hard. And who benefits in the process? This is what I have experienced while teaching structural phase transformation, a particular course in physical metallurgy, to the students coming from mechanical and of course physical metallurgy, and sometime here and there from ceramic, chemical. So how do you teach it? Now, when you are going to teach first time a course on the campus, the student will be new and the teacher will be new. Are you following the logic? One of you should react, otherwise I'll repeat my argument. A new discipline has to emerge on the campus, right?
Yes.
That's the mandate.
Yes.
Those of you who are around 45, they will remember that even RK Mandal has taught computer science and engineering on the campus, which is a laughable matter, but yes, I did. Computer graphics in particular, those of the old timer will tell you, yes, Professor Mandal used to teach as a lecturer on the campus, computer science and computer engineering, both combined class I used to take on computer graphics. But don't ask me any question on computer graphics because I don't do it at all. That was the compulsion. Now, all electrical engineer will know that there is a department of electrical engineering in Columbia. So I tell you this story that Columbia University, what do you call it? There's some board of governors perhaps, equivalent to that, whatever is the committee, wanted that let there be a electrical engineering program. So who is going to take the challenge? That's the important point. And here is an immigrant known as Pupin. I write the name for you. P-U-P-I-N. Pupin. Please type Pupin. The famous book is from immigrant to inventor. This is the name of the book. You have got it?
Yes.
Have you got it?
Yes.
Wonderful. Now, from this book I'm quoting you. So the fellow says that when this department was created in Columbia, you remember Columbia is Columbia, right? Then the student who got admitted, perhaps the first batch, that he doesn't write in his autobiography, Pupin. It was known as the COSED. But I guess it must be a student of physics who must have joked. You know, here is a department which is like a COSED. Right? Pupin himself is saying, yes, it was looking like a COSED. The laboratory equipment, those of you who are from the electronics or electrical, they will be able to understand what I mean. But even if you don't understand, the name of the equipment doesn't matter. Very, very elementary equipment, like dynamo. Everybody will laugh. A motor and an alternator with some so-called practical measuring instrument. Those of you who are from the science background must have seen classical voltmeter, ammeter, rheostat, and all such things. That doesn't make a good electrical engineering department where the research is going to be the component. So he says, when I compared the facilities of new Department of Electrical Engineering at Columbia College, Pupin writes, with the Polytechnic School of Berlin, this also means the Americans were nowhere when the Berlin engineering schools were flourishing. Is that clear? This is for historical record. I felt somehow humbled, but not discouraged. Look at the strength of that Pupin. Those of you who can remember, there used to be a valve-based system. Abhi transistor wala nahi bol rahe. There used to be a valve-based system. Very big radio set, this big. Look at this big. Okay, are you able to see my hand? This big. Radio. Okay, with the valve-based. Now it is just, you can make it this much, slim, thin, and all. All of them, all the components were invented by So when he was in a very, very low mood, a senior professor of electrical engineering from Columbia told Pupin, and I request you to kindly look at every word what Professor Crocker has said. Look, Pupin should be younger to Professor Crocker. Okay, so he's saying, Pupin, you have no idea how rapidly a young fellow grows when he tries to teach a new subject to poorly prepared beginners. Right? Suppose that I am a student of physical metallurgy, and tomorrow somebody is coming to teach me transport phenomena or the heat transfer as done by the mechanical engineers. Pupin, based on his experience, later on confessed, and that confession is very, very important. He says, I was never quite sure that those good people had carried away much knowledge from my lectures. First, the professor is new, and those students who are participating in the process of discussion, they were also poorly trained, okay? Poor background. But I was quite sure that they had left much knowledge with me in trying to strengthen out their notion. Suppose that a novice is asking me, can you tell me what is physical metallurgy? So I will try to interpret that term physical metallurgy in so many ways. And in that process, in retrospect, I will realize that, oh, some of the sentences I did not do it well. So I can pick up the best out of it. Right? He says, in trying to straighten out their notions, I straightened out my own very considerably. Crocker was right when he said, you have no idea how much a professor will learn if he is expected to expected to teach a new subject and also teach to poorly trained students. Is that question clear? There are two negative things, na? See, the professor is trying to initiate a new process, a new discipline, a new degree, right? For which he doesn't have any exposure. Those of us who had been teaching computer science and engineering on the campus, I can vouch for that statement. From 80 to 98, 99, all of us, either we were from this side or that side, and we have been told that please, since we have initiated a program of computer science and engineering on the campus, please do teach it. Then, with that, if you make interest, you will be growing from within. And growth of a teacher from within is the strength. And that strength you will be able to impart in later time of your career to your student as well. And the sum total of the inner strength of your student and the teacher as a whole will impart inner strength to the institution as well. Is that theorization okay? So now let me connect it to NEP. Okay. So my dear friends, this is R.K. Mandal speaking to you. So my dear friends, never shy away from new initiatives. It gives us opportunity to learn and grow. Right? As Pupin has grown. And you should be happy to note that I read in his autobiography that any valve system that you see in the 1910 to 30, 38, something like that, all the valve systems in electronic circuitry were either invented by him or by his student. Although, this is a great statement that I'm saying, he was trained by Helmholtz, a great thermodynamic man, just like Gibbs. But yet he contributed to electronic circuitry, right? So never shy away to go to a new discipline. So my dear friend, if NEP 2020 gives us new opportunity in making higher education relevant to aspirational youth of the country fighting for survival, let us try to accommodate their viewpoints. But a strong caveat, please. And if you do not learn this caveat from me, I'll be very upset with myself that I'm such a bad teacher. However, we should never permit, I'm saying, very strong word, very strong sentence, sacrifice. We should never permit sacrifice of the vital elements of education system in the process. Aspirational youth will be demanding so many things, but we have to preserve, as a professor, as teachers, in a campus of higher learning, our inner strength, so that we do not lose the identity of the university system. Best institutions survive longer. The example I have given you, you people have said that Oxford has been working for 800 years, and the Italy University is working for maybe more than 1,000 years. So best institutions survive longer on the inner strength of excellence. And we need to inbuild practices necessary for promoting it, right? So this is the right place where I'll go for a cup of tea, right? Meri chai aa gayi hai kya? Okay, so I'm told that I should be speaking to you for 5 more minutes. So let me do that. Concurrently, when a new program is floated, right, then it has got some associated changes in the curriculum itself. For example, on 10th of February 2025, at our place, we are trying to understand what should we be doing, the necessary changes in our curriculum at UG level, so that we can accommodate some of the viewpoints, some of the recommendations of the NEP 2020, without losing the vital element of the higher education system, and that is excellence. There cannot be any kind of compromise on that point, my dear friend. Don't yield, however mighty the authority may be. You have to say that there is an authority, there is a senate, there is an academic council, and we will not permit this to happen. So there was a debate now. Now you have to accommodate new courses in a discipline. For example, if it is BTech in electrical engineering, you have to teach not only the electrical engineering, some institute science course will be there, institute social science will be there, humanistic and all such things will be there, right? And some sister department courses also you will be opting. So there are going to be compulsory courses from the institute side. And that is what I was trying to say, that if there is a BA Hindi honors, he or she cannot be graduating until he or she has picked up something from other courses also. Is that correct or not? So here also, now you have to give some scope to institute science courses, institute engineering courses, then humanistic courses, then the sister department elective. Then departmental electives. Wherever there is a small tradition of research, every professor must be able to float some of the electives of his or her choice. This is important. Right? As we mature in research, we are capable of doing it. Right? So what is the situation now? If suppose that I have 30 years of experience in the area of physical metallurgy, I would like to float more courses of electives from physical metallurgy. But as a senior professor, I should be able to understand what is the demand of the discipline. The question must be understood properly, right? The demand of the discipline and the demand of the electives, departmental electives, demand of the core courses must be properly understood. And if after teaching for 30 years in a particular area, if I do not understand it, I think I am unjust. So therefore, friends, we were trying to deliberate upon that what should be the fraction of departmental elective and what should be the percentage of the departmental core. Why this question has become relevant? Because NEP 2020 is asking us that you give minor and you give major. So for minor, I have to, suppose that I am doing BTech in electrical engineering and I want a minor in computer science. Then the computer science must, it is engineering here. Computers engineering department, science and engineering department should prescribe that this is the minimum level of courses, core courses that you have to undergo. Right? If I am successful, then I get a minor. Now, another question is that how can any student after, say, extending 1 year of their stay in the institute or in the university will get an earn a major? Then for that, we have to specify that what is the minimum number of core courses and what is the minimum number of electives, departmental electives, of computer science and engineering that a student must be exposed so that he or she gets a major. ये थोड़ा practical वाला बात हम बोले. अब after this, I'm going to theoretical because that's my strength and I love to deliberate upon. If in case there is any question or after tea break, you can come and first ask the question, then I'll take you to the theoretical background of meaning of excellence, meaning of university, all such terse thing where I think any faculty member of higher learning must be exposed to. So let's say, what is the time? I will give you. So this is going to be, so around 6 o'clock, let us assemble. Is that all right?
Yes, sir.
My dear friend?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So 6 o'clock from my watch, this clock will be on and I'll come at 6 o'clock. 18 after taking tea and water, you all can relax and try to think of, if you can shoot good questions, I will grow from within here. आप अपने लिए नहीं, मेरे लिए आप सवाल पूछिए. I should be able to answer that. Not answer, at least comment upon that. Answering is difficult. Okay, so I'll get back to you exactly at 6 o'clock. Okay, see you then.
Sir, can I have a question? Can I ask a question over here?
Oh, please.
Sir, I have only one doubt or one objection that you can say. You have started this meeting with a argument saying that we should all have, or rather the university should have an inherent strength to sustain or to continue for a longer duration of time. And but my argument is, or my the point that is actually troubling me is that we have seen over the history, over the past 100 or 200 years, if in particularly in the case of India and in other countries, that knowledge and power, they're intricately related, and whosoever are there at the realm of power, they have tried to influence the knowledge production system in their own way. For example, if we look at the colonial India, the colonial government, the famously Lord Macaulay, he has tried to model the Indian education system in such a way that it favors the colonial masters. And post-independence also, we have seen that how governments have come and they have intervened with the policy of education, and how the knowledge production system have been influenced by the subsequent governments. So how can the institutions, specifically educational institutions, they can stay afloat, they can maintain their integrity, their autonomy, their role in production of knowledge system in amidst this tussle between the knowledge and the people who are at the power, who will try to modulate things according to their likings, or according to their you can say to their ideology.
So I think this part is going to answer only that question on a theoretical basis, right? And the example that we will be having is the worst form of onslaught on the education under Hitler.
Yes.
Okay. So that will answer little bit, and that also gives us how to guard ourselves. See, those of you who have gone through the couple of volumes on the Indian education system, not Indian, I mean education system in this subcontinent, I forgot the name of that series, right, which begins from Nalanda, it goes to Taxila and all. Very couple of volumes, one volume, because this is my interest, so I have gone through it. But I'm going to answer now on a theoretical basis that what is that inner strength, that I think nobody can take from us. Okay? So let's formulate. Shall we formulate it now?
Yes, sir.
Question, please, of the previous one. One question, I am going to address it now. This will be, I think, for 50 minutes, I am only on for that. No, other friends should also react, na? Otherwise it becomes a boring thing for me. Please react. सब लोग चले गए हैं क्या? मोबाइल में लगा के चले गए क्या आप लोग?
No sir, we are here. No sir, we are listening, sir.
Yes, so you encourage me by asking question. Okay?
Yes sir.
So, Dr. Bhattacharya has asked me a question, and I'm very, very happy that I'll be giving you the theoretical basis. So, shall we have our own theoretical basis of the post-independent India? What our forefathers have taught us, okay? So let me go to page number 58 of my notes. Okay, let me go. And I've told you that now everything, until I come in a mood, then only it will be extempore, otherwise I will keep doing it. So one of our very illustrious educationist and also the Vice Chancellor of Banaras University, who rose to the position of the President of Indian Republic, he was heading the first committee after independence. And it is famously said in literature, those of students who are students of education, they are aware of it. Radha Krishnan Committee. I think they must be writing a lot of notes on the Radha Krishnan Committee or the Kothari Committee, Jaspal Committee and all. But yes, you have to wait for, let me invoke some theoretical people who understand education better than some of us. Look at the question of Bhattacharya is nicely summarized by Radha Krishnan. And I quote, this is the verbatim of Dr. Radha Krishnan. Higher education is undoubtedly an obligation of the state. This is in independent India.
Okay.
But state aid, since the state is giving us the salary, he is saying, Radhakrishnan, he is saying that not to be confused with the state control over academic policies and practices. A clear warning. Do you know why? I will answer that. Please, in case I forget this thread, please just say that you did not answer that why Radhakrishnan is writing like that. Intellectual progress. Now here is a punchline, inner strength. My dear friend Amitesh Kumar, please look at it. Intellectual progress demands the maintenance of the spirit of free inquiry. If somebody is giving me the money and asking me to work on a problem, I think the spirit of free inquiry is going to be questioned. So in a democratic republic, we should be demanding, this is what the Radhakrishnan is saying, that since you are giving salary to the public funded institution, that does not mean that you will dictate in which direction the university system will go, because university is universal in nature, right? Nobody can say that the research is for local. Who is going to care for me if I write some paper which has already been published in, say, the University of London, and now I am trying to do it because, and I say that this is a native research. Who is going to care for me, right? The pursuit and practice of truth. Yes, you are asking me. What is that? It demands, it charges a huge amount, and that is what is going to be the further explored in 40 or 50 minutes of the lecture. The pursuit and practice of truth, regardless of consequence, regardless of consequences, has been the ambition of the universities. In case you forget about the truth, your courage to say about the truthful investigation, then forget about university. Then you cannot be a university. Unquote. Radhakrishnan Committee. Right? Second, Kothari Committee. 1966. That was 49. Kothari Committee report is saying state's obligation to fund education, but not interfere with its day-to-day functioning. Who is going to be the professor in my institute and how the professor will teach is none of their business. There is a Senate, there is a board of governors, there are the students, there are teachers, his own peer group. They will say that. So these are the two academicians. D.S. Kothari was a physicist, and Radhakrishnan, those of you who have followed him must be knowing that he was a philosopher par excellence of Indian philosophy. I think religion and philosophy both, but I'm not so knowledgeable to comment on that. But how about our member of parliament? Listen to it. And in case it surpasses all the professors that you have seen, I will not be surprised. Right? In this connection, R.K. Mandal is writing, I would like to refer to the statement made by Tarachand, who was an MP in Rajya Sabha on 6th of December 1965, makes a statement very emphatically. I'm told those people who have some memory of the Rajya Sabha, they have personally told me that he was a very, very emphatic speaker. I think he was a historian, a student of history from Oxford. He says, in the parliament, our parliament, Rajya Sabha jisko kehte hain, exclusive control of education by the state has been an important factor facilitating the maintenance of totalitarian tyrannies. We must resist, in the case of our own democracy, the trend towards the governmental domination of the educational process. So we have the political strength also, because we are a democratic republic. So now Tarachand is saying that no, how can you have the dominance on that? So they are relevant today. They were relevant in academic institution of the previous century. Now we come back to Germany. What did I tell you in the first half? That Professor Pupin is saying that we cannot be compared with the Polytechnic School of Electrical Sciences or Electrical Science and Engineering of Berlin. This is what I have read from Pupin. Now, same Germany. In 1910 or 11, they were nowhere. Colombia was nowhere. US was not nowhere in comparison to Germany and France. But now, the professor whose quote I am going to give you, and it is the best suited for our republic, that is to say that we should be careful about everything. So I am going to extensively quote Professor Karl Jesper. I'm writing something, please wait. Please try to look at this book. Have you got the PDF?
Not yet.
Yes, other colleague can
Yes,
try.
yes.
Just you tell them how much number of pages are there, how many number of pages are there.
600.
Sorry, can you write in the chat box?
600. 600.
No, the idea of the university you have gone, na? 1959. The idea of a university mat jaiye. The idea of the university.
$160 pages.
Great. This is what I was looking for. 160 pages. This is the correct number. And this professor was a trained clinical psychologist from Heidelberg, Germany. When Hitler came to destroy institution, this gentleman said, I can't teach it. I can't teach anymore. So for more than a decade, he was, perhaps he was troubled. And he comes back because tyrannies cannot last very long, because that's not the organic way that the evolution has taken place. Evolution has asked us that you be democratic, and that's why the democracy is surviving in many of the parts of the world, not in the perfect form, that I agree, but it is surviving. Right. So the idea of the university has got 3 sections. One of them relates to purpose and the method. And this I have called it often in my presentation as the triad 1. That means the 3 fellows are there, 3 headings, and all those 3 headings has got 3 sections. So 3 multiplied by 3 equal to 9. So the moment I complete 9, you all will understand that what is meaning of vitality of the higher education system. So any university must have the following function. Functioning. How do you know that there is a functional university system or academic institutions in general? It says it must have academic teaching program. Very simple. BA, MA, BTech, MTech, MBBS, MD. Not so great. Then second one, it should be conducting scientific and scholarly research. It should be able to conduct. That means it must have the necessary resources for conducting scholarly and the scientific research. And if there is a scholarly work going on, then it will automatically have as the spin-off of that will be that there is going to be a vibrant cultural life. If you do not see a vibrant cultural life in a campus, that means the students are unhappy and the teachers are unhappy. Be sure that there is no scholarship left in that campus. And once, according to Carl Jasper prescription, if the scholarship is lost, then university cannot survive as university. And that's why my comment had been in my notebook. Purpose 2 is essential for research, essential for conducting scientific and scholarly research, right? So, what is the next triad? The next triad, I have given you the three, right? The first one I have said, purpose and methods of university, right? Purpose and methods of creating a university. How do you know that you are conducting everything is fine? I have given you 3 points: academic teaching program, scientific and scholarly research, then a vibrant cultural life. Now we go to this second point. Okay, the second point of the triad refers to the elements of science and scholarship, right? How do you know that your research, scholarly research, is scientific? It says it must be methodical, cogent, and outcome arrived at has the potential to have universal appeal. That's why often we say that the best men of science, best men, women of science and learning process, they will try to see common things in the uncommon happening. That's the beautiful part of it. That's why there will be a theory, otherwise there will not be any theory. So, irrespective of which discipline one belongs to, you have to have a cogent way, a methodical way of arriving at the outcome. But the most difficult thing is that if you have arrived at something in a cogent way, in a methodical way, and you are able to come to an understanding that this is what is happening, you must have the courage to disseminate your idea. So, university system is for truthful man. If I am not truthful, I will not be able to conduct good research. And my peer group will understand that, oh, this guy is a funny guy. He does not understand academics at all. Then the third is, when do you know that you have really become a university? You have really become an institution of higher learning. How do you know? Now, that is the third thread that he is trying to say, which I have compiled in the following way. The first one is, how do you impart education? A hint of which I have given you while asking a question about the textbook itself. The meaning of textbook. You remember that how to select a textbook. What are going to be the finer attributes of a textbook? It relates to expansion of knowledge. The students who are coming after 10+2, they should be able to see, oh, there are teachers who can permit me to have expansion of knowledge. So the three basic forms of imparting education normally we practice, and until you have gone to the stage number 3, which will come, you are not a Pakka university. You are not a university of higher learning, an institution of higher learning. Okay? So the first one is the scholastic instruction. So there is a boy who comes in the first year, and all the well-known facts we are supposed to give them. so that they understand the vocabulary of a subject. It's like word meaning, for example. It's like encyclopedia. So the teacher is like an encyclopedia for the first year students, for example. This happens in the school education system very well. Even that is not also good. I think there has to be some element of creativity, otherwise the students will get dejected and frustrated. But in the university system, you have the scope to grow from within. So let us try to grow from within. So don't be encyclopedia. Looks like all encyclopedia can be replaced by artificially intelligent man. That is AI machine. Right? But if machine can replace the teacher, then machine can replace the university also. So that means other than the scholastic tradition, we have to do something else. Otherwise, education is going to lose relevance tomorrow itself. And if our formulation is that the higher education or education per se must be preparing your students for tomorrow, then the proposition is being contradicted in that process. So the second one, that any student of engineering and the economics, geography, physics, chemistry, they will be able to appreciate it. I am unable to understand it in context of the creative arts and all. But they are also, I know that teachers are teaching them how to read the meter of a poem, how to put the sketch, and all such things are being taught by well accomplished, skilled gentlemen, right? So the second point is the apprenticeship. So there has to be a competent person, right? Well adept in skill, right? So that you can pass on your experience, how to run a lathe machine, how to fix a job, how to do the sample survey, and all such things are included in this apprenticeship. Right? So the apprenticeship has to be done under a master of that skill set. So if you have this skill set, should we stop here? Then what is going to happen if the new things are going to appear tomorrow? And this is where you should come to the another. And that is, yes. So my comment is, we'll be committing Himalayan blunder if we keep emphasizing on a skill set at the cost of elevating individual from within, a concept that imparts inner strength to the system of higher education. This inner strength you will realize the moment I go to the third one, right? This requires nurturing the Socratic tradition of questioning without fear. Very huge responsibility. Questioning without fear. And this is a very old tradition. Socratic tradition is, I have noted it, should be around 500 to 600 BC. Correct, na? Socratic tradition. And our Mahatma Bodh. Please see it and confirm. You are supposed to react. Yes. Socratic tradition. Socrat. S-O-C-R-A-T. Did you get? Plato was his student, and the Plato student had been Aristotle. So in Athens, there is a tradition of Socratic tradition. And in our continent, we had Lord Buddha. So if you are saying that whether we are lacking Socratic tradition or not, no, not at all. We, at least in Athens and in our own subcontinent, we have the Socratic tradition. So let me try to do that. It says that you should be able to argue without any fear of the authorities. In that Socratic tradition, both teachers and taught are travelers on the path of search for truth. Those of us who have some training of some affection for doing humble research, we can definitely certify that it is indeed so. Right? So the student comes, see, in the research, what you are going to do, you will be doing a problem, either in method it is not known, or in interpretation it is not known, or you suspect that this aspect of the research has not been taken care of. Right? So therefore, as a professor, as a senior researcher, you also do not know what is going to be the outcome. So the teacher and the taught, they are at the same level in view of the research problem. Is that argument all right? In case, however humble the new contribution you are going to make in an area, right? That time, the outcome of the result, the outcome of investigation is, outcome of the investigation is not known. Be it sampling, be it some survey, be it some other way of looking at the ecological transformation that are taking place. So you do not know. Neither you know, neither your student know. So you have asked him that why don't you investigate? So the teacher and taught both are at the same level. They are traveler on the same path of truth. This is the beautiful part of the Socratic tradition, where you are allowed to question your guru, your teacher, right? Then what is going to happen? This I understand it little bit based on my example. Suppose that the outcome of the investigation of my student, right, does not fit into my method of learning. Because I have gray hair, I must have read good number of papers, good number of books that my student cannot even imagine. So I have better skill set, right? But that does not mean I understand the problem a priori. And in case you are understanding the problem a priori, that is not worth investigating. Is that argument clear? आप लोगों ने ये देखा कि नहीं, क्या मतलब है इसका? Okay, so the teacher and the taught are at the same level. Now we both are struggling together. That happens, right? We both are struggling together, despite our experiences. Now, the students comes with a result that is not fitting into my head, and I'll simply ask my student, you get out, you get lost. I cannot believe that the outcome of this problem is going to be in this direction. Thank God, the student, even today, they don't ask us that if the outcome of the investigation is known to you, sir, then why did you ask me to do research on this topic? Sometimes the students should be bold enough to ask this question. That why did you ask me to do this problem? If you cannot believe in me, then why did you ask me to investigate this problem? I have gone to the field, for example, in social science. I have gone to the laboratory. I have transformed the matrix just now. And I saw that the matrix is behaving. Matrix is a method in mathematics where the matrix manipulation follows its own algebra. So I have inverted this matrix and I got this, and you are saying that, no, my matrix inversion is wrong. Simply because the outcome of this inversion of the matrix gives an answer that is counter to your preconceived notion. So in research, there is no preconceived notion. So you have asked your student, you get out. So he goes back to his hostel or to his room. Following morning, the professor is in trouble. The senior researcher is in trouble. The student comes. No, the student doesn't have to come because the professor did not sleep, could not get a good sleep. Because he started thinking about the profession. Oh, if it is search for truth, maybe the student is correct. And the student also, because he got firing from the senior researcher, he goes and finally struggles either to convince the professor on the following day or to fit into what the professor is saying. Now the following morning, following day, whatever that following day is, 1 day, 2 days after, both professor and the student come and they start discussing. Surprisingly, the position of the professor is one that was taken by the student. And the student has said, oh sir, you had a point, neither I am correct nor you are correct. Second time, there is a intellectual admonishment to the senior researcher. I can think that, oh my goodness, whole night I have spent time proving you right. Now, tomorrow morning you are saying that, no, I am wrong. So again, I have to have a sleepless night to keep thinking for the interpretation of the result. Right? Did I not prove, therefore, neither the student knows where is he, nor the teacher knows where is he? He or she both included. I'm sorry, whenever I'm saying he, I mean all gender included. Neither the teacher knows, nor the taught knows. Then, in this struggle, the student is also trying to grow intellectually. And the teacher is also trying to learn new aspect of investigation. Did you see the point? This scope is not there in the scholastic tradition and the apprenticeship. If the job has to be fixed in a lathe machine, even this lathe machine has undergone a lot of changes, then it has to be fixed in that way. So a skill set. This is not a skill set. With the help of the skill set, the student has carried out some investigation in the laboratory or made some computation or made some field work. And the professor must be thinking that I should interpret in a particular way. If the student is coming and finally making some observation which is different, then what do you call this process is that the arguments that are taking place between the teachers and the student, this can go on for months together. The student demolishes the hypothesis of the teacher, then the teacher demolishes the interpretation of his students. And finally, it keeps The idea is trying to make a lot of struggle. What for they are doing? Because both has the intention to arrive at the truth of that investigation. That's the beautiful part of that. And once in the process of no, I say, आप हमारी vitality को इतना खराब मत करिए, right? We are supposed to be doing it because we want to survive longer as an institution. So forget about those people, okay? You try to practice it. They will not be able to interfere beyond a limit. I know it for sure. Okay, so what was the problem? What do you call this process? It's a struggle between the teacher and the taught. What for? To make a truthful investigation of a problem. And if the truthful investigation of a problem becomes the habit of the teacher and the taught, then what emerges as a truthful personality? ये हमको याद दिला दीजिएगा, वो बाद में आना है, अभी नहीं आना चाहिए था, ये गलत हो गई हमसे सीक्वेंस में. Okay, so now so what the student and the teacher is trying to do? He is trying to go from unknown domain to known domain, known domain to unknown domain, and he is settling between the two ends of the world. Is this problem known? I do not know. Is this problem unknown? I do not know. So in this connection, I would like to give you an example of Mahatma Buddha. So one of the disciples, it is said, ye smrtiyan hai, memories, okay? It must be quoted somewhere by some of the disciples of Mahatma Buddha. That's why the story goes around. Anybody who is a good student on Buddhism, they will be able to tell you. So the first student goes, the disciple, okay, Shish, disciple goes to Mahatma Buddha and says, Guruji, can you tell me, Guruji means the teacher, the Guruji, can you tell me whether God exists? The teacher wanted to learn from the student what is his viewpoint. Suppose that the student said that I believe in God. And the teacher, that is Mahatma Buddha, has replied, no, I don't believe in God. So the second students enter with the same question. Remember who has said no? Mahatma Buddha, that I don't believe in God. One second. मैं अभी भी हूँ लेक्चर में, ठीक है? हमको आधा घंटा लगा. ओके, ठीक. So it's the Mahatma Buddha has said, I don't believe in God. Second disciple comes and asks the same question to Guruji, that is Mahatma Buddha. As usual, teacher has his own way of teaching his students. So same question. What is your opinion about the existence of God? Mahatma Buddha asked the second disciple. He is saying that I don't believe in God. Mahatma Buddha reverses. He says that, but I believe in God. The third, very intelligent and the notorious student that we have in the class, he was observing from outside how Guruji is trying to react. So the third disciple appears and asks him, Ki Guruji, why have you taken different position? And you have asked us to practice truth. He said, yes, but I have also asked you not to believe in what anybody is saying. You are supposed to investigate. And once I have told that neither this is truth or not truth, the third student can see it, that, oh, it is still a matter of investigation. So it's an excursion between the known domain and the unknown domain. And that is what brings truth to the life, to the truth, to the process of investigation. So in Socratic tradition, there is a transcendental status of mind which imposes on human life the burden of straddling between the two worlds, that is the known worlds and the unknown worlds. So you have to respect the idea of your student. Respect the idea of the student has to respect the idea of the teacher. That does not mean that they should believe in view of the outcome of the investigation. They should keep deliberating until both of them are convinced that, okay, this is the statement of fact, this is how it should be. So respect without reciprocation or hoping to get favor is indispensable to education in our search for truth. Right? So university system is a place where people are struggling to search for truth. At that time, it need not mean, but whatever you have got, you should tell people with great devotion, with great strength. And this is what is the strength of the university education. And this is how university survives the onslaught of social and political changes. You must be knowing that in 1959, Professor Carl Jasper joined the same Heidelberg University, from where he was asked to, from where he has decided not to go to the university campus. But the students who were taught by him were knowing that, oh, this professor is of different quality because he believes in search for truth. So he insisted. And finally, one day he yielded. And finally, he joined as professor. Then he might have told that I have not read it. I'm just extrapolating. He might have told the vice chancellor of that university that I'm not going to be, I will not be associated with the medical school. Well, you don't? Then what are you going to do? He said that I want to ask a question, who am I? Anybody from the philosophy background? This is the question that Jasper says, that when the truthful investigation goes on and on and on and on any problem, a time comes when a committed researcher, a committed professor has to ask, who is he? And what is this world? Because university system is a process of making the whole man. How can whole man be a civil engineer? How can the whole man will be simply an artist? Simply a poet? The whole man means whole man. So he says that university system should permit us to investigate the whole man. So until all your university system permits, until the education of higher learning permit you to investigate anything faithfully by following the tradition of scientific investigation. If they prevent you from pursuing that, that means you are not in a university campus. This fact must be remembered by all of you. Now we come back to that. Why are we able to succumb to the political pressure? For that, I am going to page number 3 of a Harvard professor, right? And I will page number 3. In the book, those of you who have got the reference, they can see that there is a preface by Robert Ulrich of Harvard University, right? Why do we succumb? Right? I am answering this question to the political pressure. Despite all this lofty goal, everybody doesn't yield. For example, this professor, Jasper, he simply said, I don't want to teach. I'm going home. And the risk was huge. You must be knowing, those of you who have read Hitler authority, they must be able to understand what does it mean. Okay? And then look at the strength of that man. He said that I refuse to teach, go to the medical school. Those of you who know that Heidelberg Medical School, even today, is regarded very high. Right? So Robert Ulrich of Harvard University, this is the last part of my submission, then I'll close it and we can have some chat for some time. So but here one cannot suppress a sad reflection. How could it happen that despite the courageous resistance of some professors like Karl Jasper, of the universities of so many European countries, collapsed seamlessly under the attack of dictator? This is the question. And that is the question that one of you has asked. One region, of course, if there is a dictator, then one region is, of course, is the cruelty and thoroughness of a strategy by which the totalitarian government pursue their destructive aims against human freedom, because they want the freedom must be snatched away forcibly. And if there is no freedom, then there is no university. I can tell you. First of all, if there is no academic freedom, if there is no freedom as a human being, then it is no longer a university. Whatever any political master can tell you, but once that political master is unseated, and if he is in the same state, they will make the same observation. As I was reading one of the statement of the Tarachand ji, of member of parliament of the Rajya Sabha, he also said the same thing, right? But he was not a dictator, he was a great man, right? One reason, of course, is the cruelty and the thoroughness of strategy by which totalitarian governments pursue their destructive aims against human freedom. Universities have no guns and armies, and whether lawfully or not, they can be closed and silenced. This is the reason. This does not mean that we should start having army. This does not mean that we should start having cannon. No, our cannon is the truth. Our armies are our truthful students and the teachers, and they are our ornament. The guns, no guns can ever silence the region, the truth. Another reason that he says is that with few exceptions, European university professors care too little about interaction between academic life and its social and political environment. However, now, after that 1940, the people started realizing it, and the 50s onwards, in 70s in particular, but that reference I'm not going to tell you today, that they started saying that if the society has to care for the education, education system per se has to care for society. Right? And if the truthful investigators are manned throughout the campus, then they will be propagating only truth in the society. So the society becomes worth living, human. And this is the spirit of the entire process of the learning in the university system. Anything that I have left, I have promised you to say? You just investigate. Otherwise, I'll wait for the discussion now. So the first half was about the practical, how to implement. The second half was the theoretical investigation of imparting vitality to academic institution. And in that process, the people who are involved in the process of contributing to the process, to the investigation, right? And they are normally the teacher and the taught of the university system. This is what I wanted to convey. Now I shall wait for a couple of minutes for all of you. You can shoot your question without, I think you can unmute yourself and shoot the question. If I am in a position to take up those questions and interpret it for you, I shall be happy. Yes. So I don't want to speak now. You all have to speak now. Please shoot your questions.
So I had a query.
Yeah, please go ahead.
It's not a query, but it's a real-time scenario. Fortunately, I'm not facing any of this problem, but there are favoritism in the system. So when favoritism exists as a student or as a teacher, it is difficult to survive in the freedom scenarios that we are discussing now, whether it is NEP or the existing scenarios. So what a person can do to survive in these cases, humbly and with humility, as a student and as a teacher in both cases.
So my reaction to this question will be that is to go for that we are not going to yield. Okay, we will not speak, but if at all we have to speak, we will be speaking the truth only. That's the first thing. And in the domain of our research, in the domain of our for what we are appointed, we should be well respected by our students. If these two things we are able to do it, it is fine. I'm not saying that you will be able to withstand against the tyrannies of the authoritarian regime. Not at all. But we shall resist our freedom in the most technical way, in the best possible way. That is what my suggestion will be.
Sir, as a student, what a student can do to resist? In some cases, like some students are very much favorite to some professors. So if some student come to you and, discuss the thing with you, what we can suggest in that case?
Sorry. You put your question further. I am unable to understand that.
So what I'm asking is, suppose if some student come with this idea, like, okay, some certain teacher, professor, they are having some favorite students in the class and I'm not getting the proper attention, what we can guide to those students in a polite way?
Okay, this is a pretty simple way. We normally address by the process of arranging tutorial for them, if we have the resources, right? Tutorial is a must. and you must take as an institution affirmative action for those students who are lagging behind.
Thank
Okay?
you, sir.
No, normally curriculum is decided in the university system by the academic senate or the what do you call it, academic council. So they can ask us that you should be teaching this course, that course. That is perfectly fine. But they cannot impose in the university system. Only this much you have to. If the academic council itself is unable to resist, then you are no longer a part of the university. This is what I can react. Yes, next question, please. क्या हुआ? Akiti, could I respond a little bit to your question? Or you want to further react? Thank you. Any other clarification? I think my participants are tired. In case you are tired, then I will leave you, all of you. Is that okay?
Sir, I have one more thing to ask.
Yeah, please.
In the light of you people are the right person to ask because of your visionary expertise on the subject. In the light of NEP, where we can assume our university system later on a decade, what will be the consequences that we are going to adopt today in 1 or 2 decades? What fashion we will be going to notice?
Yes. The first thing is that the teaching and research, we should not compromise, right? We should keep demanding the necessary facility, whether you are come from a private institution or from a public funded institution, that you have to give this, otherwise it is very difficult to give quality education to our students, right? That's the first point.
Sure, sir.
And the second point is that you should never be doing something for which you feel that the theoretical proposition of Carl Jasper pertaining to truthful investigation, pertaining to truthful teaching is defeated. You should guard yourself. That is what my submission will be.
Thank you, sir.
So I don't think anybody is asking me any questions. So I don't see even the question in the chat box. Multidisciplinary, yes. That I will. What is the last part of your question? Can you clarify it further? Allied field is still not welcoming. What is meaning of that? Multidisciplinary approach, we are able to do it because you can give 2 measures to your student. You can give minor to your student. So those are the advantage. If the allied field is not welcoming, I think the people has to ask the appropriate authority that you tell me that this is the NEP 2020 document of the government. And in case you are not listening, sir, then it is not good. By allied research, yes, nobody can prevent us from doing the allied research. People can always collaborate with Sanskrit. There is no problem. I can see whatever I am able to tell. Some of them I have learned from my friends in the Department of History. Okay, in case you don't have any question. So thank you very much for being with us. Let us conclude now.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
हो गया सेशन? तो भी निकल जाओ।